listening to DINO 106.5, bringing you the greatest Mesozoic hits, spanning all the way from the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous period. Now, here's the Dinosaur Review for Kids. Roar! Welcome back, everybody. It is Dinosaur Ranger Anthony, and I'm here with you guys for the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast. I'm so excited to do another dinosaur species. Today, we're going to dive into a herbivore dinosaur. We're going to talk all about its defenses. But before we jump into that, you guys, I just had an outstanding weekend. The missus and I went down to Las Vegas, Nevada. We just love Las Vegas. It was our fourth trip there, and this trip, it wouldn't have been complete without a visit to the Las Vegas Natural History Museum. So we went there. We had tons of fun checking out their museum, seeing their prehistoric life. They had an awesome dinosaur room, and I really loved learning about Nevada's fauna and flora. We just had a magnificent time there at that museum. I also have a really quick story. We went to the Penn and Teller show. They're magicians, you guys. I was picked in the audience, and I was part of one of the tricks. They had everybody stand up while Penn and Teller flipped a coin, and everybody had to guess heads or tails. Well, I was the last one standing. They brought me up alongside the stage, and they had me turn around and wave to the whole crowd. At that same time, Penn turned around a poster board that he had been keeping tally of all the heads and tails. When he turned around that poster board, it was a caricature of me standing right there. It was just outstanding. The guys, Penn and Teller, both signed it. They handed it down to me, and I got to bring it home with me as a memory. I just had such an amazing time. I'm still in awe over that show. They even put my dinosaur mask. They drew the mask on me, and there's little dinosaurs on it. It was just totally cool, you guys. But let's jump in a little bit more. You guys remember, you can join my Patreon club, become a junior dinosaur ranger. We're just a little over a week away until Halloween, and that is when we're going to do our Zoom dinosaur hybrids lesson. So I'm super excited to talk about Jurassic World dinosaur hybrids. Now, today's episode of the Dinosaur Review for Kids is my daughter, Cecilia. She's a junior dinosaur ranger. This was probably her first favorite dinosaur. Now, everybody's favorite dinosaurs constantly change. I mean, everyone loves the T-Rex, but then like your second favorite, you know, who is your second favorite? That tells a little bit more about your personality. So Cecilia's was this dinosaur we're about to do was Junior Dinosaur Ranger Cecilia's first favorite dinosaur. So let's go ahead and dive right in, you guys. We are doing another theropod dinosaur, like I said. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up our Dinosaur Review for Kids scorecard. And remember, you can print this out for free on the Stomp Chomp Roar website. Just go to the Science Lab tab. You can click on the post Dinosaur Review for Kids, and you can print off the scorecard so that you can do your own dinosaur review at home, or you can follow along with me as I do these podcasts. So today, you guys, we are doing the thick-headed lizard. And who is that, you might say? It is the Pachycephalosaurus. So the Pachycephalosaurus, he's sometimes confused for the Stygimoloch. They both have that dome-headed skull. Today's podcast is on the Pachycephalosaurus. Its name means thick-headed lizard. So this is an ornithischian dinosaur. That means they are the bird-hipped dinosaurs, but not the ancestors of birds. They're ornithischians, and then it falls down in the Marginocephalia suborder. They are herbivores before they fall into the Pachycephalosaurids family. So a little bit about the Pachycephalosaurus. Let's dive right in and talk about some of this dinosaur's characteristics. So how big was this dinosaur? What is its length, its height, and its weight? So the Pachycephalosaurus is up to 15 feet long. It is up to 5 feet tall, so a little bit shorter than me, and then it can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. So 15 feet long, 5 feet tall, 1,000 pounds. Now, how fast was this dinosaur? He's clocking in about 7 to 15 miles per hour. He is a mainly bipedal dinosaur, which means he walks on 2 legs, but he can, they believe, get down to all 4s, probably when he's eating on vegetation. That would make him also a quadrupedal dinosaur. Those are the dinosaurs that walk on 4 legs. Now, what kind of weapons or defense did the Pachycephalosaurus have? He is a herbivore, so he's going to be mainly a defensive animal with maybe a few characteristics that help him fight off those predators. So the Pachycephalosaurus, he has that dome head. Everyone knows, they see it right away. He has that dome-like skull, and everyone jumps right away to them headbutting in combat. Whether 2 males fighting for territory or a mate, or maybe trying to push away a predator by hitting it with its thick skull. Well, their skull, they can be up to 10 inches thick, and they have those bumpy knobs along the side of the skull. Now, we don't really see very much evidence of, any head scars or any stress that would have been, that we see on the fossil. So we don't really have very much evidence of them headbutting against each other in combat. We can see some species that are around today, types of mountain goats and ox and things like that, that they do that, headbutting, deer, the elk hitting the antlers together. So we see a lot of species today that are kind of doing similar things. So I think that's why, a lot of people jump right to that maybe they were doing the same type of things, fighting for territory or a mate in the wild. So maybe the males were pounding those skulls, those dome heads together, but we don't see no evidence of head scars, any stress to the skull, they're very fragile. Imagine hitting 2 bowling balls together. You would just see a ton of stress, a lot of cracks, scars, damage to the skulls. And then imagine if you did hit 2 bowling balls together, they have all those bumpy knobs around the dome. So when the bowling balls hit, they're going to slide off off each other, and someone's going to end up getting their eyes right into those bony knobs at the end of their dome. So it just wouldn't be very smart for them to doing those types of characteristics, those types of behaviors hitting their skulls together. So we don't see very much evidence. I don't believe that they would have done it as much. Maybe it would have been a last resort in defense, but for them to be constantly doing it over and over, I don't believe that is something that the Pachycephalosaurus would have been doing. Now, they believe they have a great sense of smell. They have short forelimbs with a stiff tail. The tails on all the dinosaurs is doing a great job keeping balance, supporting their heavy heads and whatnot, or their long necks if it was a sauropod. But our Pachycephalosaurus, short limbs, they got the stiff tail, and they're a herding dinosaur. So this is another defensive characteristic that helps out all the herbivores, is the size of the herd. If these guys, I wouldn't imagine their herds would be gigantic like, some of our ceratopsians and our hadrosaur dinosaurs, but they would have lived somewhat in a herd. They live up in the upland region. So when you kind of think of a mountain goat, I kind of think about back in Pangea, back in the Cretaceous period. That's maybe similar how our Pachycephalosaurus would have lived, kind of more up in an upland region of the area. Now, they had small and sharp teeth for eating plants, fruits, and seeds. Now, when did this dinosaur live, and how long did the species live during the Mesozoic era? So our Pachycephalosaurus lived 76 to 65 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. That's the last period of the Mesozoic era when all dinosaurs lived. Now, the Pachycephalosaurus is found in western North America, Mongolia, Madagascar, and the Isle of Wight. Now, it was first found in 1938 by William McKinley, and it wasn't named until 1943 by the famous paleontologist Barnum Brown. So you guys, that is a little bit more about our Pachycephalosaurus. I've got a few sitting here. My herd of Pachycephalosaurus is sitting here in my dinosaur lab. They're, quick review again real quick. They're up to 15 feet long, up to 5 feet tall, could be 1,000 pounds. They're not too fast, 7 to 15 miles per hour. They've got that dome head, almost 10 inches thick. Those bony knobs around their dome, down to their parrot-like beak on their nose. They have somewhat of a little bit longer neck than our like Stygimoloch and whatnot. They've got those shorter forelimbs with the fingers. They're walking mainly on two legs bipedal. I'm sure when they were running around, they were mainly doing two legs, but getting down on all fours when they were getting vegetation. They've got the small, sharp teeth for eating the plants, fruits, and seeds. I believe their best defenses as a dinosaur species is going to be the herd. They're living in the herd, and they're living in those upland regions. So maybe not as many predators are going to be able to get them up there in those regions of the continent they're living on. So they've got their territory up in the upland regions. They're herding. I think those are going to be their main defenses. Their speed isn't going to be in their favor. They do have the bony dome head, but I believe that is, that's going to be last resort. So I don't believe they would have been using that very much for defense. So when we give our Pachycephalus a score, we've got to give it a score of 10 fossils, 1 out of 10. Remember, 1 fossil being some of the worst dinosaurs, 10 fossils being some of the best dinosaurs. So where is our Pachycephalosaurus going to fall on the fossil scale, you guys? I'm going to give the Pachycephalosaurus a 5.6. So 5.6 for our Pachycephalosaurus. I believe now he is at the bottom of the Dinosaur Review for Kids fossil review. He's sitting down there at the very bottom in the 5s. He just doesn't have very much, he doesn't have very much characteristics for defense. I said the herd is probably going to be forever the best in his favor. He's living in those upland regions, so it's going to be very hard for some of those carnivores to maybe get up to him. So he doesn't have, very many weapons, no spikes or horns like, Stegosaurus or some of the ceratopsians. He just got that bony head, and I don't believe he would have been using it very much for those types of things. So you guys, 5.6 for our Pachycephalosaurus. He's sitting down there at the bottom of the Dinosaur Review for Kids scorecard. So you guys, thank you guys so much for listening into another dinosaur review as part of the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast. We've just got 2 more species left. That's right, 2 more species left until our first prehistoric cage match. I cannot wait to do this one. The arena is about set. Grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, because it's here pretty soon. We're going to do our first prehistoric cage match. You guys, be sure to check out us on Patreon and become an official Junior Dinosaur Ranger, or go to Facebook and look up Stomp Chomp Roar and check us out on Facebook. And you guys, as always, remember, my name is Dinosaur Ranger Anthony, and keep digging for dinosaurs! We'll see you guys later.
Wow.